They shouldn't only be seen as passive beneficiaries of transitional justice measures, but as actors participating at every level of a transitional justice process. One of the main challenges that victim organizations face in the field of transitional justice, probably the most silent one is the problem of victim participation. Because obviously there is an acknowledgement and a recognition in the field of transitional justice that victim participation is essential, but in reality this doesn't always translate into concrete measures to ensure this participation and also to make sure that the participation is effective and meaningful. In the institutionalized aspects of the transitional justice processes, their participation is often a token participation. It's often a pretty superficial one. It often turns into a ticking the box exercise. So institutions overseeing transitional justice processes have always in their lists of things to do victim participation. But this doesn't always translate into the real impactful involvement of victims in the process. I think it is essential to make sure that the victims themselves are satisfied, and in order to make sure that they are satisfied, it is very important to understand what their demands are, what their vision is, what their perspectives are, how would they conceive transitional justice. They shouldn't only be seen as passive beneficiaries of transitional justice measures, but as actors participating at every level of a transitional justice process, and this would involve participating in shaping the transitional justice measures, participating in the implementation of the transitional justice measures, and participating also in any follow-up to transitional justice measures, and to allow them really to fully, one, I would say, influence processes, and two, actually to recover their agency through this participation, because participation is not only about influence, but it's also giving the possibility for victims through this fight for justice to recover an agency that perpetrators have tried to erase through the abuse, through the violations. So by allowing them to fully exercise this agency, to fully recover this agency, you are already kind of delivering a form of justice to the victims. This is what I mean by a process remaining, I would say, very formalistic, very superficial, when it does not take into account, I would say, the obstacles, deep-rooted obstacles in a society for such participation. You cannot say that women, survivors of abuses, can easily participate in every context. You need to put in place the conditions for such participation. If you take the context of Syria, for example, Syria is a country that has a very lively civil society that obviously developed after the Syrian revolution in 2011 and mostly within refugee communities. But what we have noticed over the years is that there wasn't really a space or a voice for the victims. But This has started to change, I would say, back in 2014, 2015, when victims started to organize. And this was a turning point in the fight for justice for Syria, because really at this moment we could understand exactly what the needs of the victims are, what their vision for justice is. Another immediate need they talk about is the need to know the truth of those who went missing, who disappeared, were forcibly disappeared during the conflict. And for them, this is the priority, and this is where they are concentrating all their efforts, and this is where they are actually achieving progress at the international level, to the point that the General Assembly of the United Nations in its resolution on Syria back in December did recognize the problem and requested that the Secretary General prepares a study on how to address this problem, and this is the result of victim activism and participation.